will be able to make and sustain good families.
So, I thought even just to add to that as well,
Yeah.
another danger, and I don't know if this is necessarily a danger for dads more than parents in general.
Mm,
And I know parents who don't even have neurodiverse children might do
yeah.
this. Every child is different, regardless of what they are dealing with.
You literally, my respect level for you and your family has gone up so much. And I'm so grateful that you and I could be so open about this. 40 weeks for men. 40 weeks for men. 40 weeks for men. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of 40 Weeks for Men, a resource for men, by men, in order to help us dads be the best we can be in this crazy, crazy world. So we're at the part of the podcast where we talk about a father response. The topic this time is preparing for neurodiversity. Now, I'm so grateful that I've got another dad to help me think about responding to the interview. That's actually got a personal experience of neurodiversity. I'm so grateful. I've got a little bit of his time today. I'm so happy. So yeah, well, please introduce yourself and just tell us a bit of background about yourself, sir.
I'm a designer, and I've been married for 7 years, and I have a amazing, beautiful daughter, who is about to turn 5 actually very soon. And yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Awesome, awesome. So this week, this topic, we're talking about preparing for neurodiversity from a dad point of view. So let's just get started. So what I want to ask you first is, what do you know personally about neurodiversity yourself?
Okay, so what I know about it is, I guess, based on mostly first-hand experience. My daughter has been diagnosed with autism, as well as I guess one or two other diagnoses. But I guess within a neurodiversity bracket,
Yeah.
it would fall under the autism, and it's kind of opened my eyes to a lot about this area. I mean, I knew some stuff before about neurodiversity,
Yeah.
um, but it was kind of just what maybe stuff I had observed, I'd seen on TV, no first-hand experience.
Yeah.
My wife also is a teacher, so she's also helped educate me a lot about this area,
Yeah.
about in terms of it's just how people sometimes see the world a bit differently because of how their brain processes information. And then yeah, it's interesting. I'm still learning a lot about it. I don't have anywhere near as much as all the answers, probably less than 1% of it, but it's part of the journey. And as I see my daughter grow, um, I'm learning on a daily basis how to interact with her, and how to, I guess, how I would explain something normally, or do something with someone else. I would have to kind of find a bit more creative ways to get that across to her in some areas anyway, not in every area, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of it.
Yeah. It's definitely, like you said, it's definitely part of the journey. And I'm so grateful for you being so open and honest. Because that a lot of the time, us dads don't really talk about neurodiversity until it comes to us. And I'm trying to help us really break the ice and realize that actually this might be something that we all have to face together. And hopefully
Mm.
you and I can have a good conversation and think about how we better prepare for neurodiversity, if that is the case. So thank you for sharing what you shared about your own life. I really appreciate that. So my next question to you is that obviously I know that you've got your own personal experience, Dad, but let's say you could find out some more things, because you did say slightly as well, actually, when you were speaking, that you don't know everything and you're still learning as you go. What kind of thing do you really want to know as a dad with a child with neurodiversity?
Um, I guess, I guess when we look at it from the aspect of autism,
Yeah.
it's just learning how to interact as they grow as well, because something like with any child, whether they have autism or not. as they grow up. You know, the way you communicate with them will change as they grow. You know, to be able to reach them on different levels. In terms of what they would want to talk about, their interests, how they'll see the world, what they'll be exposed to, and stuff like that. And it's the same thing. Well, from what I've seen in my experience with my daughter with autism as well. So what would I want to know?
Yeah.
It's a hard question because it's on two levels. I guess there's the area of the autism I've just spoken about, but then there's also with her other diagnosis, which is a very, very rare genetic diagnosis that doesn't
Mm.
have much medical literature about.
Yeah, there's not a lot of
So
information.
no,
Mm.
I mean, we've been told that she's in like in the tens in terms of the amount who has been diagnosed with this and the medical history. So there's very little information. And there's almost like when we go to appointments and stuff, we are educating the doctor, whichever doctor she's seen,
Yeah.
about what it is. Because they're like, okay, so they will just read maybe one or two things that they might find online. But it's like we've already read all of that and much more because you know we've been on this journey for almost 5 years now. Um,
Mm.
so I don't know. What I'd want to know is just how to meet her at where she is at any point in life. I
Any
guess
function,
that's the
right?
simple answer to your question.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like
Definitely.
to an extent, that with the autism, that there's information about that everywhere. Plus, my wife, she's worked with a lot of people, a lot of children with autism and other
There's challenges.
additional needs. So she's been great at educating me and how to meet her at the different levels. But I guess from the other aspects with her other diagnosis, there isn't much out there. So it's just being aware and alert and being like know when she's changed, when she's okay, we need to move on from this to this because you know what we want to see, like she's developed past this point. So, you know, keep challenging her so she can continue to grow, never holding her back.
Yeah.
Um, I'm expanding on the answer to your question, which you didn't ask me yet. So, but hey, here we go.
Oh, and I'm enjoying this conversation. I'm listening to you. What I'm hearing so far, though, is that there's something about realizing that actually every child is different, regardless of whether or not they've got neurodiversity or not.
That's it.
Realizing actually being able to communicate with your child at different stages of their life is really helpful for them and for us, for our
Yeah.
relationship. And actually, what I'm hearing from you as well, Dad, correct me if I'm wrong, is that having a partner that is able to help you with some of your shortcomings and realizing actually for you as your wife, like being able to realize that her expertise in the area of teaching really helped you to realize that actually these are some of the challenges that my daughter will face and I need to be more aware of them so that I can better facilitate better communication with her. That's what I'm
That's
hearing.
it.
Yeah, so I'm glad
Yeah.
because that's gonna. And I just say one thing, that's gonna really help a lot of dads, I think. Because actually, yeah, okay, I know your daughter has a rare genetic condition, and actually, I can definitely attest to the fact of trying to teach other doctors about what they need to do and what the genetic condition
Mm,
entails. I can attest to that. I understand
mm,
that
mm,
myself personally. But also, I just want to say, like, I think that having neurodiversity will affect different people in different ways. And like we call it the autism spectrum. Because we
mm-hmm.
realize it literally goes from like 0 to 100. There's so many in betweens. And
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I think realizing that early on for us dads can be really helpful to realize that, you know what, yeah, it's not always going to be exactly how I thought it was going to be, but that's okay.
yeah. No, no, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. So this leads us on to the third question I wanted to ask you. So I know a lot of dads face a lot of worry when it comes to preparing for neurodiversity. And we sort of spoke about it slightly, me and this other dad in the interview. But what do you think are some of the worries that dads face?
I mean, the biggest one is the unknown, which
Yeah.
might have been driven, or I guess the distorted view of what you think is known based on what you might have
Yeah.
seen elsewhere, or you might have seen from snippets of other parents or other people's experiences. Like if
Yeah.
you're walking in public and you might see a neurodiverse person, or you might see like it's just, and then you might think, oh, is this it? But you don't know what the rest
Yeah.
of the family life is like. You might, and obviously you said it's a spectrum, and from what I've come to understand as well is like my daughter can to display behavior in one aspect because of what she might be frustrated at one point and something might come out, but that doesn't mean that's her 24/7. Obviously I
Yeah.
understand that also within the spectrum people's experiences are different, but the unknown, or you thinking that based on inaccurate experiences that you because of what
Yeah.
you've witnessed, can also be frightening.
Yeah.
um and for me, I think that's something that I might have gone through and on how to unlearn,
Mm.
because again, every child is different regardless of what they are dealing with, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's what I was
And
gonna
it's
ask you actually. How did you manage yourself dealing with the unknown?
um it was again having to unlearn stuff that I thought I knew,
Yeah.
throwing out the ignorance, getting ready to
Yeah.
just really, really just, I mean, she's my daughter, so
Yeah.
I need to know what I need to know to be the best father I can for her,
Mm.
for
Mm.
where she is at any point in life. And
Mm.
literally, that's what I thought. You know what? Whatever she needs, whatever I need to do, whatever I need to learn to make life as great as possible for her, I'm all in.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was it. That's I kind of had to um decide consciously that I'm gonna let go of this fear. I mean, there were still some concerns. Oh, am I gonna be able to do this and this and this? But as I've gone through and seen her development, I've seen that some of those fears were not necessary to have. Obviously, everyone's experience is different,
Yeah.
but
Very
you will
true.
never know how you're like. Don't put limits on your child based
Yeah.
on what
Don't
you've
put
seen
limits.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
Always try it, and what you try and do what you can do to let them be the best they can be, in life.
Yeah.
Take the limits off, and then where you see they need help, as a parent, you just help them. But
Yeah.
don't put limits on them so they can never go past it, because you
Oh,
don't know. Seriously.
Dad, you're gonna make me cry. You literally, in my respect level for you and your family has gone up so much, and I'm so grateful that you and I could be so open about this. Because really, a lot of the time, us men don't really talk about these things, and we just get hit with neurodiversity. Like, oh, my child is slightly different. What do I do now? And I think what
Mm,
you're saying is so, so true. We need to realize that actually it's not all going to go the way that we want it to go sometimes. And being ready to adapt and
that's
change
it.
in what the child needs can really help us make and sustain good families.
That's it.
So I'm hoping that people that listen to us today will be able to make and sustain good
That's
families.
it. I think even just to add to that as well.
Yeah.
Another danger, and I don't know if this is necessarily a danger for dads more than parents in general.
Mm,
And I know parents who don't even have neurodiverse children might do
yeah.
this. But don't compare. Don't compare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't compare your child to anyone else, because you can end up putting yourself down because my child is not doing A, B, and C, and that goes back to to meet your child where they're at
Yeah,
and help them fly with the wings they've been provided. They
yeah,
can go as high as they need to go, and as far as high as they're willing to go, and then where you feel they can go higher, you encourage them to meet
mm,
meet blow their potential out of the water. You know what I mean?
yeah. I know what you
Because
mean.
that's what we need to do as parents. That's what we're here for.
Hmm.
um and yeah, don't just, I guess, yeah, I'm just repeating what I've said already. Just don't be scared.
I I love it. It's really, really good stuff, and I know a lot of dads are gonna be really enthused. That leads us beautifully onto the last question. You sort of already alluded to it, but I'll just ask you anyway. What are some of the ways that we can find encouragement as men, especially, in preparing for a child with neurodiversity, maybe?
um How can we find encouragement as men and
Yeah,
for talking diversity? I guess a good thing would be, and this is not for, and this doesn't happen for everybody, but find some sort of community for
yeah,
people who've already been through it.
mm,
This could be in your actual friendship group or in your family, even if that is, if that's a great opportunity because you would already have some form of exposure to it.
mm,
If not, don't be scared to ask questions and find communities that are actually in place for people who are going through this journey, because there are people who are going through this journey. And just drop your pride.
mm.
Like, don't be scared to ask questions or ask for help and think, I'm a man, I know what the answers. I
Yeah,
must be able to do this, or I am this child's father, so I need to be able to like drop all of that, because sometimes doing all of that can bring more harm to the child than good, especially if you're going forward and moving forward blindly, not knowing where you're going because you're not educated enough in this area to know how to best meet the needs of your child. So ask and speak to people, essentially. That's the summary of what I've just said.
I love that. I love that. Number one, find your community. Number two, drop your pride. I love that. I think that's going to help so many people really better prepare for neurodiversity.